afternoon, everyone. It's Cookie here from the Two Marks. Just me today. The sheriff's out on a bit of a fishing trip, and I know Nige is at work, so just popped on for a bit to say hi, talk a bit of Spurs. How are we all doing? Get involved in the chat. Any questions that I can answer that you want to put through the chat, please put them in, and we'll talk about it straight away. I've got a few of my favourite people in. Let's just say hello to Eugene. Big up, Eugene. Thanks for being here, mate. Nige, my old mate Nige. Thanks, mate. Thanks for the comment. Cheers, mate. We'll have a go on my own. First time today. And we'll just try and have a little chat. Mark Taylor, how are you, sir? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it, mate. Great stuff. And the Danalist has popped in to say hello as well. Great stuff. So, I don't know, really, there's not a lot to talk about, really, but I just thought I'd come on for an hour. We'll talk about maybe transfers that might be happening, bits of in and out. And like I say, get involved in the chat, ask some questions, and I shall do my best to answer them. First of all, the old Morgan Gibbs-White transfer. What are we doing here? 2 weeks ago, nearly, we tried to get this fella in. And, we had the breaking news that Kudos had signed. Then that Morgan Gibbs-White was coming in. And all of a sudden, we thought we'd done 120 million on two first-team players coming in. And things were starting to look like they could be a little bit rosier. Tottenham moving in a different direction, if you like, in the transfer window. And then 10 days have passed. Nothing's happened. We don't know if Morgan Gibbs-White is coming, staying there. It's all gone quiet on the Western Front. Now, just to put a bit of perspective on it, we know that we know what Marinakis is doing, as far as the transfer is concerned. But I think Morgan Gibbs-White is in a bit of difficult position at the moment. He's got a lot going on at home. His wife's pregnant, problems with her pregnancy and so on. So, it's a difficult situation for him. I've seen people in different chats saying, well, put in a transfer request, blah, 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 blah. But it may not be as easy as that. And I think, we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. But leading on from that, I've got to say, that doesn't give Tottenham Hotspur any excuse not to be carrying on moving in the transfer window. As it stands at the moment, we've got 1.5 people in. We're off to Korea in less than a week's time. And, the conversations with many of us that have been on this channel and other people's channels, it's a case of, 1 is not good enough. 2 is not good enough. We need in this window, a minimum 3, if not more, to come into the first team, and improve the squad overall. There's Champions League going on next year, all the cups. And also we need to be improving our league position. And that is why, the new manager has come in, Thomas Frank. Hopefully he can get everyone flying, and there'll be an upturn in fortunes. But, going back to the transfers, Morgan Gibbs-White, is it going to happen? Isn't it going to happen? I think in the end, hopefully it will get done. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Morgan Gibbs-White is the where we need to be right up there, but it's a level up. And sometimes you have to step up in levels rather than just trying to hit the big one at the top. So we'll see what happens with Morgan Gibbs-White. I think it'll be very interesting in the outcome of it. And, once it all comes out in the washing, whether he signs, whether he stays at Forest, whether he goes elsewhere, it'll come out what the issues were, and we'll find out how difficult it was for Morgan Gibbs-White to get this transfer through, because you know, his chairman's being an absolute knoblet, to be quite honest with you, you know. But yeah, we've got other targets as such that we're you know moving to, but there's nothing concrete. You know, with Spurs, it's always, you know, we're interested in this fella. You know, there's rumours about this one, but there's nothing ever, you know, for us fans to talk about, you know, that's coming out from the club. You know, I know it seems like Johan Lang, he likes to do his stuff under the radar. You know, we know when Odibert come in, no one knew nothing about that. Boom, done. You know, so it does happen. It does happen. But we need, you know, we was talking at the end of the season, all of us, and we were all saying, you know, 3 or 4 have got to come in to improve this squad. And it's just come to a standstill, an absolute standstill. And it's just so difficult, you know, for the fans to be upbeat. I suppose everyone's just frustrated, and you know, no news is, you know, it's just madness. Let's just have another little look in the chat, see if anyone else is in. You know, Danalist is saying, where are these transfers? Where are they? They're not anywhere. It's all quiet, you know. And we know generally this is how Tottenham Hotspur work. It's very, very rare that we will get the players that we want in, you know, right early in the window. It just doesn't happen at Tottenham. For whatever reason, whether you want to blame them upstairs trying to save a few quid, you know, whatever the reason, you know, if you're going to act like a big club, yeah, you've got to get your money out and pay for who you want at the end of the day. And I understand, you know, a team might offer 40 million and you're going to haggle down for 35 million, 37 million, whatever it is. I get all that. You know, today, Garnacho, links with Garnacho, and people are saying 70 million quid. You know what I mean? I don't know what you people think in the chat. Garnacho, 70 million it's being touted about. Now, for me, that's way, way too much money for Garnacho. You know, not that we're paying it personally, but in the grand scheme of things, when you look at what players are going for now, you know, and there's levels of player as well. Garnacho's young, he's 21. He's done bits and pieces at United. There's little bits about his attitude that I personally don't tickle my fancy, but the lad can play football. Whether he's right for us or not, you know, is a different matter totally. So, you know, we're crowded out at the moment over on the left-hand side. We've got however many wingers, whatever you want, inside lefts, whatever you want to call them. You know, Tell, Son, Solomon, you know, just to name 3. Yang, 4, Tell, 5. How many more? How many more do we need? The time has come, as we have been asking for a long time. You've got now a set of youth players or younger players that you've brought in, which is fine, right? That part of it you're doing, and we can understand as Spurs fans at some stage you've got to bring younger talent in to mould them for later on. But to be quite honest with you, we don't give a toss about later on. You know, let's be honest, right? The youngsters are there now. You know, all what we've just mentioned and more, Archie Gray, Bergvall, Odibert, so on. Bring quality in. You know, Tottenham need a lot of players, yeah, to make that squad into a top 4 team, a quarter-final, semi-final Champions League team, you know, winning a cup at home. So, on top of that as well, what I would add to that is that we have a very bloated squad because of all the youngsters we've bought, okay? And other signings we've made as well, but we're very bloated with a lot of very average players in the squad. So, again, to me, that has to be lifted. The actual squad level has to be lifted. So, when we make substitutes and injuries and different players are coming in, this level ain't dropping off like we've seen over the past few years. You know, it's really, really important that Tottenham start acting like a big club, because otherwise, if you don't act like a big club and start buying the players to get you to that higher level, you saw what happened last year in the league. You know, there's all the different, he said this, he said that. Listen, at the end of the day, these footballers are paid an awful lot of money. An awful lot of money. Yeah? Perform at your best every week. Yeah? You're playing for the mighty Tottenham Hotspur. 17th is a disgrace. Now, I'm not going to go on about that. We talked about all that last year. Again, which is fine, right? So, where do we go from here? So, we've talked about quality players coming in. That doesn't necessarily cost 80 million, 70 million every time. There are players of the mould that Tottenham like to buy. You know, I'm sort of looking, look, you look at Paulinho, it's been going on. He's 29 years old. We're desperate for a DM. Now, I'd say yes to Paulinho, whether it be on a loan or a short deal, couple of years, if you could get him, however it worked. I'm not privy to the conversations of how that sort of stuff goes on. Right? But he's 29. He's not 34, 35. He's not at the end of his career. You know, and anyone that's saying, oh, I wouldn't have him, do you know what? Of course you'd have him. Surely you would have him in your team as a DM. We screamed all year that we didn't have cover. Again, Thomas Frank's come in. System will be different. Tactics will be different. Players will be given certain things that they're told that they need to do in a game off the ball, so on and so forth. You know? But Paulinho, for me, I mean, that type of player. Again, look, I don't mind. I'm on here talking on my own. You can all cuss me if you want, right? I know you're not like that, people, but Adam Wharton. So we can go on the train with Adam Wharton. I like Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton fits the profile of Tottenham Hotspur in the fact of that he's young and he's also had a year's experience, maybe a little bit more, at Crystal Palace. Now, everyone was standing up saying, look at this kid, you know, not the finished product by any stretch of the imagination, but we'll put it, if I said to you, Adam Wharton, Archie Gray. Archie Gray's a DM. That's where he wants to play. He wants to be a DM. Right? So Archie hasn't had the experience that Adam Wharton's had, as little as it is. So they're talking about 85 million quid for Adam Wharton, right? Which is, look, it's not our money, but it's an awful lot of money, right? But if Spurs went and bought that type of player, right, and they got him for whatever, 80 million quid, just figures, 80 million quid, he comes to Spurs. Is there not anyone in the chat that thinks in 4 years' time, this kid's going to be worth a lot more than that? And that, to me, is a typical what would be a Levy buy, because this one, it's pushing the boundaries, 85 million. I don't think Levy's going to go there. But for me, to have that type of player in your team for the next 4 or 5 years, especially in that position, you talk about players growing into leaders. He is that type of player for me. But, you know, Mark, yeah, again, nothing concrete, mate. There's never anything concrete, is there, mate? Nige, yeah. Well, yeah, Isaacs, yeah, I saw that handed in a transfer request. He ain't coming to us, mate. Got 2 hopes, Bob and none. No chance. He's only going to Liverpool, mate. I agree, Mark. 3 to 5 first team players. Yep, totally spot on, mate. We need it so bad because, excuse me, we have got a lot of games next season. You know, Thomas Frank, I've got no doubt he's working his arse off. Yeah, someone put in the thing. There's 2 friendlies on Saturday. He's got so many players to look at. Yeah, to try and work out what he's gonna, who he needs, what he's gonna do with them. You know, this geezer's not coming in to play just front foot fucking everyone up front football. Sorry for swearing, didn't mean to. Right, but I am frustrated with it. I believe Thomas Frank, with the players he's got now, will turn us, hopefully, into a maybe 7th or 8th place team. I've got no doubt that the players we've got under proper instruction from coaches, working on things during the week, you know, the coach asking you simply to do things that you might not have been asked to do before. But that is our squad bonds, learning what the coach wants them to do, then slowly implementing it on the pitch. Players make mistakes. They're not all perfect by any stretch of the imagination. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're professional, amateur, whatever you are. We all make mistakes, right? And mistakes will happen. But, you know, like Mark says, 3 to 5 first team players, you know, that come in straight away. The overall squad depth is a little bit better. You know, we had a conversation on Nigel's the other night, and I was saying about we are so far off. You know, Thomas Frank could probably pick an 11 and play a system and play his tactics from what we've got and win a lot of games. But are we going to go back to that last year injuries? You know, when there's an injury and Archie Gray's coming in playing centre back or left back when a dog is injured, you know, we've seen where we are with that. And I've got Archie Gray, you know, he was 40 million. He's been bought in. He done a job last season, man. But I don't want 40 million pound on a utility player. You know, he's a kid. You're asking him to play positions that he's barely ever played before. And I think he did it reasonably well. But when we're buying players, we're Tottenham. Come on, scouts. You know, I don't think anyone expects 80 million pound players. You know what I mean? At Tottenham. You know, I think Daniel Levy's made that quite clear that while he's in charge, you know, 100 million pound players ain't going to happen. He's had his fingers burnt before in Ndombele and so on. And I think he's a bit scared to go and do that. I don't know. But there is one thing for sure, people, right? This squad has to improve. It has to improve. We need to be attracting players. Look, I've got a list here of players that we've all talked about before. Now, apparently, you know, I'm first time live on my own. I'm not clicking on stuff and bringing items up on the screen. That's just not me at the moment. I write things down and I'll talk about. I mean, that's just how it is, chaps and chapesses. Kolo Muani. What do people think? There's talk of PSG want to let him go, and it's 43 million. That is what's quoted now. You know, however you feel about Dominic Solanke, right? He's here. They've paid the money for him, 65 million quid. It didn't work out for him last season, right? To a point, as in we wanted him scoring more goals. He was dropping off in that system. We need a centre forward. that's a centre forward, right? So we need he's our big man up front, right? Apart from Richarlison, who else is your target man? Don't say to me Son, because he ain't a target man by any stretch of the imagination. He plays off of the main striker, right? So, yeah, you can put him there if you're, like, really desperate. You can put him there. But we need another centre forward. Dominic Solanke is not going to play 65 games next season. Now, I don't mind. I'll just move on. Yeah, I'll chuck another name out there. Probably stuff I've spoken about before again, right? Dusan Vlahovic, 25 years old, perfect. And before you go, no, his wages are too high. I get that. I'm coming to that, right? He's a very, very, very good player. Had a bit of a quiet season last year. But again, I think someone put, it was either in this chat or Danny's chat earlier, there's players that want the manager to put their arm around them. You know, Kudos is that type of player. He's the type of player that you know he's got talent, you know he can turn it on, and he's that geezer that you're going to put your arm around him as you're his manager. You're going to tell him how fantastic he is. You're going to tell him, go skin him. Go skin him. Frighten the life out of them. Have a right go at them. You know? And that's what we need. And I said when we signed Kudos, as much as he had a crap season, you know, West Ham had a lot going on last year, right, with managers in and out and so on and so forth. But before that, before he went to West Ham, Spurs fans were saying, why ain't we in for Kudos? Why are we not in for Kudos? I wanted him then. You know? But he's here now. He's here now. He's had another couple of years' experience in the Premier League. And to be quite honest with you, right, for me, Kudos needs to be taken off early doors for Tottenham next season. Get him on that right wing. Get him going at defenders, taking the piss out of them. Because defenders are worried. He's got the feet. He's got the skill. He's got the technical ability. And again, I'm not saying that this geezer is some sort of world beater. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. But he's better, right, technically wise, and we'll see goals wise, than what we've got on the right wing. We can move on to other players again. We can chat again. And that says to you, again, Kudos ain't going to play every game. We know Johnson played on the right last year. And I've got no doubt Johnson will play games on the right for Spurs this year. I also believe that Brennan Johnson will play for Spurs at some stage this season, if we don't buy one, as a second striker. And I think that could work. He did it for Forest. They had the big man up front, the knock-ons, the nod-downs, you know, all that sort of stuff, running off the ball. You know, your centre-forward knows where you're going. He knows what area you're going into. Make it, get there, take the touch, bang. And he is very, very good at that. We've got, you know, conversation again last night, the conversation about Son. Does he stay? Does he go? Now, for me, he's gone off the boil quite a lot in the last 2 years. But what I will say is, if Tottenham Hotspur keep Heung-min Son, right, can you imagine this geezer coming on with 20 minutes to go when you're 1-0 down? Everyone tells me that Heung-min Son is the best finisher and has been for a long time at Tottenham Hotspur. We saw what he did when him and Kane were together. He's got it. He's got the finishing. There's no doubt about it. But for me, having Sonny running up and down the wing is not the answer for him now. You have a Solanke up front or an AN other, right? Sonny comes on with 20 minutes to go. Trust me, there will be defences shitting their pants, right? Because Heung-min Son for 20 minutes, that bundle of energy for 20 minutes, making those darting runs, having a go. And again, I'm not saying that is the full-time answer, but we do have quite a few players that can play as a second striker. Tell can do it as well. He is a second striker. But again, you know, he has to learn. He's young and he's got to learn. And hopefully we have the coach that can bring out the best out in him. I've got no doubt that players that we've got at the club now that will be coached to a different standard with different ideas and so on, so forth. You know? Listen, we'll see. There's been this about Kolo Muani today anyway. Whether we would go down that route or not, I don't know. Again, I'm sorry if I'm sort of changing the subject, because I think of things and I've got my pad here and I've got stuff written down and I'm jumping from place to place. It will get better the more that I do this. Apologies in advance. Now, one question that I would like to ask of the chat and anyone who's listening, where are our leaders? And I'm not just talking about on the pitch, pointing, doing this, doing that. When little things do turn up, when little ruckuses do turn up, where are the men, the leaders, to pull the hot heads away, to stop the aggravation? And I'm not saying, look, I'll give you an instance, right? When we played Chelsea and we lost, we went ahead, I believe, if I'm right, talking about the right game. And I can't remember if it was when we was drawing or we'd gone behind. There was the tackle that, who was it that made the tackle? Was it Sarr or someone made and it was late. It was a late tackle. And all of a sudden there were 20 geezers having a ruck, you know. Now, for me, we are very, very lightweight as far as leaders, if that's the right word, warriors that are going to get you through a game. You know, if we're going down this model of younger players coming through, you know, and there's senior players in the squad, yeah, the senior players that are there have to show a certain mentality on the pitch and also a certain amount of balls. I know football's changed and we can't get stuck in like we used to, you know, and I'll say they can't get stuck in like they used to, you know, and it makes it a lot different. But what can we do? You know, it's so difficult. Football's changed so much from when I played, you know, but there's still nothing to stop. You know, there's different ways that players can wind up players on the pitch. You know, whether it be a whisper in the ear, a knee in the back, whatever it is. And I'm sure it all still goes on to a point, but, you know, the tackling and all that sort of stuff has gone out the game, isn't it? Really, it's gone out the game. You know, you're a millimetre out now, you're sent off. And I think aggression is a big thing in football. It really is a big thing in football. G Giant 68, big up, mate. Thanks for being here. Yep, totally agree, mate. Need quality over quantity now. We've been saying it for I don't know how long. But it's got to be done. It has to be done. So anyway, moving on. Spoke about Adam Wharton. I don't know what any of you think. I don't know a lot about Arden Jashari. Now, I know he's a young fella. Playing in France or Belgium, is he? I'm not too sure, but I've seen little bits and pieces about him. Again, he's young, but that's the type of profile of player that Tottenham are looking for. So thoughts about Arden Jashari. I'm not going to go on about what he does, because he's not here. So, but he's a very good player. He's a talented player. Does he take us to the next level in midfield? Probably. It's just another step, and another step, and another step, and it's going to be, unfortunately, people. It could take a while for this club to ever get to that, but that's what we want to see. We want to see quality coming in, like Mark said earlier, Mark Taylor, 3 to 5 players in this window. I think everyone would be really, really pleased with that. Really, really pleased. So again, we'll see what happens. Douglas Luiz is another one. Sorry, I keep looking at me pad, people. Douglas Luiz, another very good player, very gettable, was very good at Villa. Premier League experience. He's in the right age, and what is he, 26, something like that, 26, 25? Would you take a Douglas Luiz in your midfield? What are everyone's thoughts on what I'm saying about, you bring 3 or 4 in, yeah? Is it blocking the youth because the squad is so bloated if we do that? And then if you don't do that, where are we? Because the youth team players are not ready. Most of them. They need to, we've had Dorrington go out on loan. I don't think you could class him as a youth player no more, but Ashley Phillips, he's gone to Stoke. Dorrington, he's gone back to Aberdeen. So I think we've got, is it 8 or 9 centre-backs now at the club? Like, as what you would call first team squad players as such. Vuskovic has come in, looks tidy. I don't want to overrate him. I don't want to sit here and say, oh my God, Luka Vuskovic is going to be the greatest. Listen, again, we spoke about, let's give you an example. A Brian Gill, diminutive, tiny footballer, acres of technical ability. Yeah, there's no doubt the kid can play football, right? But he's not built for Premier League. It's just not him, right? You look at someone like Vuskovic, a young lad, 16, 17, whatever he is, right? He's done a bit out in Belgium. We've only seen him in a bit of training and the Reading game. Okay? But he looks like a man. Wayne Rooney, when he came on to the scene, 16 years old. He had the build of a man. He looked 25. He didn't give a toss about who he was playing against. He got stuck in. He had it large. Look what happened. Look, he turned out to be one of the finest Premier League players. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing to see, Harry Kane. It took him time to come through the system, but once he got his chance, once he'd had his loans, he turned into a man. And that is what we need. We need men. For me, all the chatting on the pitch, and the getting stuck in is just as much, about what you're doing, about what you're doing playing football with the ball. The talking, the getting stuck in, the pride, the absolute pride of players putting on this shirt. Putting on this shirt, not only for their wages every week, but putting on this shirt because they're going to give everything to Tottenham Hotspur and everything to the fans. Because with no fans, there wouldn't be no football. Whether you go every week whether you don't go every week, you watch it on the telly, whatever you do, without us fans, and especially the paying fans that go week in, week out, spending $2,500 on a season ticket, and that's without the away games. There's loads of people that go home and away. It's their passion. They can afford to do it. If they can afford to do it, you know, and why not? I followed Tottenham around all over the gaff from the age of 16 till I was 24 because I was free to do it. I went to work, earned me money, and I chose to spend me money on Tottenham Hotspur. What an absolute mug I was. But there you go. So they had 7-8 years of me going all round the gaff. You know, 16 years old, jumping on coaches up to Wolverhampton Wanderers to watch us. Don't seem far, does it, for a 16-year-old? It was, you know, the first time, first away game, but fantastic. And I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change any of it for the world. I really wouldn't. You know, I'm sure there's Spurs fans out there that are probably, you know, not more of a fan than me, but more in it. I'm like mid-50s now, and I watch. I don't go. You know, my son's been going on it to me for a long time to go and watch a game at the new stadium. I won't go in there. I won't have anything to do with Daniel Levy and what I can describe as some of the shite of the 25 years that his tenure has brought. Now, again, you know, we could go, yeah, he's done the ground, he's done the American football, the go-karts, he's building hotels. Yeah, look, Daniel, thank you very much. To be quite honest with you, mate, I don't give a toss about all that. I just want the investment in the team. 300 million was meant to be coming in a few weeks ago from whoever it was. Then it went all quiet on who it was coming in by. And then, to be fair, I ain't heard a thing about that since. I haven't heard anything about it. So, I you know, I'm not up to date on that side of it. But if anyone knows if that money came into the club and that was why we sort of, you know, went for Kudos and went for Gibbs White early, because it was all around the same time. That was being mentioned. Kudos was coming in, so on and so forth. You know, it might have been a week earlier. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, he was there somewhere, and yeah, he done all right, Angus. And I hope you're well, mate. Well done on getting Gokares, mate. It makes you a force next year, just going off the subject. But unfortunately for you, mate, Liverpool are buying everyone that's anyone. And that's going to be your problem next season. Liverpool are going to be flying, mate, next year. And also City as well. City have done some fantastic transfers for, you know, the sort of money that we're talking about buying players for. Why can they get them in and we can't? You know, they're paying from between, I don't know, 30 million up to, you know, your 50s, 55 millions. But they're doing deals. Boom, boom, boom. They need forward. They're going and getting them. And we're not doing that. And it cheeses me right off, to be quite honest with you. Michael, thanks for the message, mate. Spot on, mate. Let's hope so. Let's hope Thomas Frank can work a bit of magic and get some of these players performing. Just performing. Consistency. Let's get some consistency in what we're doing. It's going to take time. It ain't going to happen overnight. Frank plays lots of different formations, presses in lots of different styles. Tactically astute, can change a game, can change a player's position, can change players' formations. also trains players on the training pitch. We have missed that so much. So much. I've read little bits and pieces. Look, get any questions, please get them in the chat. I know there's only a few people watching, but you'll be helping me out with a few questions if you want to put any in. We're trying to build this channel up, get more people watching, just talk football without all the crap that goes on around it. You know, I know there's a few of us that are trying to build our channels up, and we will do. There's space for everyone. I've come on today, 4:30. Yeah, there might only be 10, 11, 12 of you watching. Yeah, but hopefully next week there'll be 25 watching. You know, we'll get it out there. We just try and bring you news of what's going on. I know there's not a lot, and I know I'm rambling a bit, but don't take any notice. Come on, you Spurs. That's all I can say. Let's keep going. Let's just get some players in, man. Some good players. You know, I don't know what Sesko is, Nige, can I say? Is he like, they want sort of, is it sort of, again, up towards 80 million? You know, that sort of money. Something like that. Sesko, for me, listen, I'd take him all day long, but they're not going to go and bid for someone like that. They're just not going to bid that money for Sesko. I just can't see it. I just can't see it. I'd love him. I'd love him. I'd absolutely love him. But I just can't see us going that way. Just can't see us doing it. But look, there's 6 weeks of the window to go, or 5.5 weeks, whatever it is. There is still time for the mighty Spurs to bring some quality into the squad. Again, I would have liked him to be in now, so that he had a couple of weeks on the training ground. They've had a couple of friendlies here before they've gone to Korea. And then it just puts him a couple of weeks ahead then, you know, rather than all these players coming in, you know, the week before the season starts. And, you know, it's not helping the manager that. It's not helping the manager. But he is perfect for us, mate. He is perfect. 22, you know, he's done it in the German league, scored goals, assisted, and he's a very good player. He's a very, very good player. And he is a player of the ilk that Spurs should be going after. We need to be, you know, selling Spurs to these players. Yeah, we've got a new manager. So on and so forth. We are in for other players. You know, Benjamin Sesko. We are going for other players. You know, we've got a couple in. There's more coming, and we want you to be one of them. And so, you know, it is what it is. I was talking about Vuskovic earlier. Sorry, I went on a tangent and got off the subject, and it's just come back to me. Vuskovic, right? You're all going to say, he's on 300 grand a week or whatever it is, 350 grand a week. Well, Spurs, sweeten the deal. If you don't want to break the wage structure, sweeten the deal. There's other ways round it. Show the player that you are prepared to try and work round it. Now, he's on 300 grand a week, whatever it is, fine. Spurs ain't going to pay that. I get that. You know, we are not that club. But I've got to say, and thanks, I'm assuming Dan might have finished and sent some people over. Thanks to you all for coming in. Really appreciate it. All 35 of you. Thank you very much. Yeah, Vuskovic. Not Vuskovic, Vlahovic. 300 grand a week. We're not paying that. But sweeten the deal. Give him a signing on fee. Yeah, drop his wages down a little bit because he's had the signing on fee. Bonuses for goals. Whatever. However they want to do that stuff up there. Do it, and do it to get them in. You know, players want to play in the Champions League, but they're not going to come to a team when they look at the squad and they think, Jesus, we could be out in the first stages. Be out. They don't want that. And it is difficult because, you know, you've got the Kudos in. I'm sure Kudos will handle Champions League, right? So that's fine. Vlahovic, he's been at Juventus. He's what I would call now, you've got to call him a seasoned professional now. He's 25 years old, the fella. Right? So if you're bringing someone like that in up front, whether he be your main striker, whether him and Solanke are doing whatever they're doing, one in one game, one the other, I don't think they go together, to be quite honest with you. But like I've said earlier in the show, we have got a multitude of second strikers, inside forwards. So when the system does change, when the formation does change, when different tactics come in, he can go from a 4-2-3-1 to a 3-5-2. Thomas Frank can do that. Boom. Just like that. But all it's about is drumming certain signals, certain shouts onto the pitch, and for players to react to that because they're in their game, they're in their own zone. They're doing what they're doing. The manager on the shout line, shouting instruction, shouting instruction, shouting instruction. It's all about learning. There's no doubt. These are professional footballers. They can play football. But they need to be coached the Thomas Frank way. And I think you will see results from that. I really do think you will see results from that. Sorry, people, I'm getting thirsty. I'm just going to have a swig of drink. Big up to 45 of you in here. I can't believe it, on my first home stream. Fantastic. Hit the sub button, hit the like button. We are flying here, talking 47 minutes. I could talk the legs off a donkey, mate. Trust me. It's probably all crap, but who cares? We're here. We're having a chat about Tottenham. Happy days. I think we're about, I'll just let you know, I think we're sort of about 40 from 500. That's where we're trying to get to, me and the Sheriff. Again, apologies, he's not here today. They've cancelled his work again. So he said to me, sod that, Cookie, I'm going fishing. So he has. And he went fishing. I said to him, Sheriff, I'm going to do a live, mate. The time has come. 6, 7 months, whatever it is. I've got to tell you, people, the first time I come on here, absolutely petrified. Because I'm not a look into a screen person at all. But I love talking about football. Love talking about football. It's always been a passion. I've played football since I was 5 years old. Supported Tottenham. First went to Tottenham in 1972. You know? I've been to the good stuff and I've seen the bad stuff. Seen Sugar. Seen Scholar. And all the rigmarole when we nearly were so close to going bankrupt. There was never nearly a Tottenham Hotspur. And for a club of our magnitude, that was disgusting at the time. And a lot of older fans will remember that. But look, we're here now. We're 2025. We've come a long way. We won a Europa League last year by hook or by crook. And I will always say, you know, whether I like a manager, whether I like a player, at the end of the day, it's all about winning trophies, not just for the fans, but for those players as well. You know, I can imagine a lot of you that have played football, amateur football in your own time, and your team's won a trophy. How did you feel? How did you feel when you won the cup that year or you won the league that year for your little team? Feels amazing. Can you imagine how it feels to these fellas? It's different gear. It's different gear when you win something, right? Just changing subjects, Ali, I would say that I was so pleased last year that even though Sonny had declined, that he stayed with us to lift that trophy. Because to me, you know, that makes him a legend of our club. You know, you had the fantastic times when he was twinning up with Harry. Goals galore all over the place. All over the place. You know, fantastic player, fantastic servant for the club. He stayed. Now he's won his trophy. If he stays this season, he stays. I don't think he'll be playing week in, week out. If he stays, I would like to see him as an impact sub. You know? Dazzle, sorry, I've been chatting away and I was miles away, mate. And this is all the stuff I've got to learn. Make sure I'm hitting, you know, tapping me thing, getting me comments up while I'm not good at doing two things at once, mate. You know, that's a woman's job, two things at once. I'm struggling with that. I'm only joking. There you go. So big up to you, Razzle. Thanks for being here, mate. Philly. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Friends are up as well. Phil, about 24, isn't he? Midfielder. DM. Yeah, he's at the age, isn't he? He's at the right age, mate. He's at the right age. Oh, dear. Terry, is that true? Is that true? If that's true, R.I.P. Oxter, man. If that's true, let me know in the chat, please, yeah? Oh, Angus has said, Art Attack at his own, 71. Well, what a man. All I can say is I used to watch the double, not so much now. You know, I used to watch it back in the day, back in the good old days of Big Daddy and Giant A-Stacks and all that sort. And Alt come on the scene. The ultimate showman. What a showman he was for wrestling. And fantastic fella, you know, from his interviews that he does or did. And yeah, rest in peace, Alt. I don't know what else to say, man. Rest in peace, man. Oh dear. There you go. Philly, sorry, yeah, I just bought that one up. Yeah. We do have a good relationship with him. So, you know, and don't forget as well, Patrici is now, even though that's gone all quiet as well, to be honest, because, you know, there was a big to-do at the end of last season. Everyone was, Patrici's in the crowd. Oh, his band ends in July. Patrici's in the crowd. Wonder if he's still doing a bit of this and a bit of that. And I know we're not playing and it's close season, but I ain't heard a bloody thing, to be quite honest. I haven't heard nothing about him. So perhaps he is out in Italy doing a bit of this and a bit of that and seeing if he can do something like he did with Bentancur and Kulu and whatever. You know, it's you've got, someone asked a question the other day about Patrici and Lang and what are they doing? What are they doing? Well, as far as I know, Lang is looking at the more youthful stuff. He's also, you know, he's probably scouring whatever players as well, but more towards the youth players, the younger players, I should say. Patrici's over in Italy doing whatever he's doing, keeping an eye on who's available, who's not. But at the end of the day, these two bods have got to come together. Yeah, in whatever form, surely they've got to speak to each other because they're going to be putting the players forward. So these bods up here, Vinny, Levy, Charrington, whoever it is, you know, and they're going to have to agree on targets or put all their targets up there and then they let them decide what they're doing. You know, obviously the manager, hopefully, will have some sort of say in that. You would like to think. I would like to think we're going back there now rather than just, you know, club signings. I don't want to hear. I know everyone does it before people get in the ear hole. I know clubs make club signings. But Tottenham Hotspur, please, let's get to the stage where we're getting players in that the manager wants. Because surely the coach knows, as a coach, what he needs. And again, don't expect it all to happen in one window. I really don't. I don't want people to get on at me saying, oh, what do you expect, Cookie? You know, I expect more than one. 5.5 weeks to go. Who knows? We're hoping that maybe we'll hear something this week about something. But we haven't. So anyway, I'm going to say to you, please keep it in the like button. Keep it in the sub button. Going to try and do a few more of these as we've got news and views and, you know, just to come on, have a chat, try and grow the channel a bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. That's why we're here. You know, we started off, me and Mark, 5 months ago, I think it was. And we're now at 460. There's 460 of you out there that want to watch what we're putting out. And to someone like me, it's fantastic. You know, it's really fantastic that you people, 39 of you in here now, want to sit here listening to me waffle. But it is what it is, man. You get me for what I am. If there's truth out there, I'll tell it. If you want to hear bullshit, I'll tell it. No, not really. I'm not a bullshitter, mate. I only try and speak from here, mate, if I can. If I can. I am getting on a bit. But yeah, Razzle. That's what we need, mate. Get in there. Let me press it. Where is it? There we go. Need a live from the Sheriff Fishing. Absolutely. I've got no doubt that will happen at some stage. Angus, I'm not worried about you signing Gyökeres. I think it's a great signing for you. You've needed a centre forward now for, 2-3 years, a proper centre forward. You know, and we all sat in chats last year and we talked about Arsenal. And a lot of people were saying, oh, all they need is a centre forward now. You know, well, you've got him now. You've got him, and you've had Zubimendi come in as well, and others. I can't name them all, Angus. I'm not an Arsenal supporter, so I really don't give a flying toss who you get in, to be quite honest with you. But as you an Arsenal fan, surely you've got to be well chuffed with Gyökeres. Well chuffed. You know, to me, I'd feel like you are now with Gyökeres if we went and got a Vlahovic. You know, Tottenham, go out there and get that geese. But Angus, you know, it's 90% that it ain't going to happen, mate. It's not going to happen. Big up, Terry. Thanks very much, mate. We'll keep trying to put it out there, mate. Keep spreading the word that the 2 marks are here. And Nige at Pure Coys, the Danalist, you know, they're on the way to 1,000. They're nearly there now, them lads. And big up to Dan and Nige and Sava and everyone that's helped us carry on doing what we're doing here and bringing a bit of content here. Because without these people, I know I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be sitting here now. So big up to all of them. And make sure tonight, the 33 of you, I'm sure you'll be over there, but make sure you get over to the Spurs 5 tonight. I haven't got the link to put in the chat, but if anyone has, whack it in there. But yeah, new show from them guys tonight. I'm sure it'll be entertaining and see what happens. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, where's Mbappe, Angus? Where's Mbappe? Is he still coming? Right? Just asking for Scott. That was all. That was all. And going back to Angus's comment, you have made, let me just finish on this. You have made some good signings, Angus. There's no doubt about it. You've took a step as far as that goes, right? But Liverpool are doing it as well, mate. And I'm not saying you're not going to win it. I'm not. I'm just saying that you've made a step. Man City have made step back up. You know, back up. They're going to be in the top 3 this year. They're going to be fighting you for the title. And Liverpool, mate, you know, they are not sodding about at all. They want it again next year, without a doubt. Just on the transfer window, mate. You know, there was a lot of noise going about, Slot's won it with Klopp's team and all that. Can he do it with his own? You'll see this year. You see if Arnie's having it large this year, because I think Liverpool win the league again this year. As the transfer thing stands at the moment, City second for me, Arsenal third. That's where I'm at with the transfer window at the moment for the big boys. Don't really like talking about them, to be quite honest with you, because they're out of our league. They're absolutely out of our league. You know, we're nowhere near. We're nowhere near any of those clubs. You know, over the course of a 38-game season, not saying we can't beat them over a game, but over they are way, way, way more consistent than what we are. Do me a favour, Razzle, will you? What are we doing here? Big up, Paul. Thanks for popping in, mate. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you. He was our backup. Happy days, Angus. Happy days, mate. Yeah, Angus, so tell me then, I know this is a Tottenham show, so you've got Zubimendi, you've got Gyökeres, you've seen what other teams are doing. You probably thought that would be enough this season for you to, you know, push on and be even closer to winning the league, Angus. So what I will say to you is, where do you feel you are now as an Arsenal fan going into this season? I know you've bought basically who you was after, the centre forward. Zubimendi, fantastic signing. Superb signing. You know, I think you've bought another couple. I'm not sure. I'm not, like I say, I don't look at it. But where do you see you, Angus, next season? Currently, without Liverpool, Man City, whoever, doing any other business. Where are you with it? Where are you? Big up, Dan. Nice to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, mate. Liverpool are after him, man. Big style. Can you imagine their front line next year? Ekatike one side, Salah the other side, go on, and so forth. Look who's here. Where is he? Here he is.
Hello, boss.
Here he is. The sheriff's in town. How are you, mate?
All right, man. I'm just taking a break from the fishing.
Well, I know what
just
you caught,
join you, mate.
Tell the listeners what you've caught, mate. What have you had?
I had a nice bream, mate. I've had roach and rudd. Nice roach and rudd. I ain't had no carp yet, but like it's all right, man. Can I just say, mate, I've only popped on to say you're doing a fantastic job, man.
Thank you,
First
mate.
time on your own.
It was very
no, brilliant, mate.
Very nerve-wracking, mate, to be quite fair with you. It is now I've done it, I'll be all right. You know what it's like when you do it the first time, and am I going to stutter? Am I going to sit here with nothing to talk about? But the chat have been brilliant. I've got to say, all of you, you've been absolutely fantastic. And I've had quite a few well-wishing messages to me today, just to say, good luck, mate, you'll smash it. And I feel like I have a bit.
Yeah,
I feel like I have.
Yeah, man.
You know, but
man,
it is what it is, mate. We are what we are, and we can only give what we can give, as they say.
We are, bro. You know? We are. I could not do what you're doing, mate. Sit there and just, you know what I mean? I couldn't do it. Oh, it's froze,
it's got to
man.
Be done, man. You know what I mean? I'm retired now, Mark. I'm retired now, as you well know, and I have to fill my days, mate. So if it means me going through stuff and finding bits of information that I can talk to you all about, and refer to me notes, then once the note referral has run out, then that's it, really. What else can you do?
Yeah, man.
Ben, look at Ben. Ben's spot on here. Look, he does it every day. Every day. I don't know that I could do it every day, people. I might get to that stage at some stage. You never know, but it's hard. It is hard doing it on your own. I'm not going to, it's difficult. It is difficult. But there you go, Scott M. You are the tech god. Scott M says, Sheriff signing in remotely, ? He truly is the tech god.
Who is?
You.
No, man. No, Jesus Christ, man. If I'm head of technology, mate, we're in trouble.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say, like, I'm frightened to leave here now because all I can see is end, and I might end the bloody stream, mate.
Don't end the stream, mate. I'll end the stream first. Look, I've done an hour and 5 minutes. There's been up to 45 of you in here watching this stream today. I'm immensely grateful to all of you.
That's all thanks to you, mate. You've done it.
It doesn't matter, mate. At the end of the day, you know, we're here to talk football. You're there to catch a carp. It is what it is. I want to say to all of you, please like, please subscribe. We're going to come back, do this again. It might be tomorrow. Might pop on again tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But
I ain't doing nothing, mate. I'm off all week.
Yeah, well, you'll be on with me then. We're gonna start whacking a bit more content out there, people. You know, we're trying to get us and Nige. We're trying to do a bit every day on both the channels on Pure Coys. You know, big up to him. Big up to Nige. Yeah. Been a great help for us over the past few weeks. Absolutely superb, mate. And thank you. And I want to say as well, and I'm going to finish on this in a minute, Mark. Big up to Danalist as well. And I want to say that because first thing last night when I was talking to him about our lifetime videos that we've done, and for all you people that are in the chat that haven't seen the lifetime videos, we've had YouTubers on for the past, oh God, Mark, how long? 3 months? Something like that. 5
weeks, wasn't it?
What
was 27,
whatever it was.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, over a long period of time.
Yeah.
28 YouTubers came on, gave us their, not all-time team, their lifetime team. So basically, the years that they've been born from that date, they can pick anyone in their lifetime team. So I think there was 28 altogether that did it. And I'm going to do mine tomorrow with Mark. Set it out there on the stream for you all to see. Not about that, though. Please get over and watch those lifetime videos because some of those teams are absolutely unbelievable.
They weren't bad, were they?
We spent a lot of time doing these videos. They're a great watch if you want to pass a bit of time. And the good thing is you can fast forward through them a little bit if you want. If there's a bit too much chatting going on or whatever and you want to see what the team is, you can fast forward it to do that. That's fine. But have a look, people. Have a look because it's really, really, really good. Really good. Really enjoyed it. And I want you lot to watch them. So there you go. On that note, Mark, I do think we've done an hour and 10.
Well, you have.
Thank you to everyone. Everyone. I think Brian's popped in the chat. I might have missed him. Big up, Mr. Daigle. Thanks for your advice earlier, mate. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll just keep going. And it is the 2 Mark show. So on that note, Mark, it's a good night from me.
Hang on. And it's a good night from him.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for being here. We'll do it again soon. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.